Everyone, the Vibe Kage here. Let's just go back into this one. It's an old one, relatively old one. It's my Apex Deku Legend one. This one also started kind of as a joke that I was surprised no one did for Deku always being in the support course. So yeah, Deku being in both hero and support course, or his super intelligence quirk gave him the edge to take over, against other people with actual quirks that are meant for combat. Now, not that Deku isn't combat ready or combat savvy. No. His intelligence pretty much let him be a god tier opponent. He already created two drones, two special robots. It's our Revenant. Ow! Fuck! I popped my neck. Sorry. I thought I was about to sneeze, and I don't like sneezing on this, and if I could have fought it, I would have stopped. Now, like I said, it's Revenant and Pathfinder. And now, fuck, my throat is dry as shit, my guy. I don't know. There's a water. Water. A healthy solution to dry throat. Dry mouth. Dry throat don't sound right. Water. As we last left off where these two, with our special little blue friend, had decided to crash the party and show Stain that though Ingenium had fallen and the mantle was passed on, the spirit of a hero could not be quenched in Tensei. Now, Tensei, this is the closest that I could find for a hero suit for him would be the blue. And yes, this is actually an Octane skin in their newer Apex season. If one thing I will admit, I did see the new character trailer. I think he looks cool. I like the mullet. Not gonna incorporate that at all. This I'm not gonna lie, this what if ends in this video or maybe in the next one where it would be a short wrap up video. But I digress. As we now continue with the story. You see, Tensei drops down. Pathfinder and Revenant fall down too. Stain is confused on why there's two robots and this new blue wannabe hero. Tensei would tell him, oh no, I am the guy who you left, crippled. As then he starts marching in place with his new robot legs. As then he's saying, I was Ingenium, and now, thanks to you, the one mistake that you made was leaving me alive, leaving my spirit to grow. You thought that you could push me into the brink of despair, but no, there is hope. Hope in a boy named Izuku Midoriya. He will be a great pro hero, and he gave me new legs, a new look on life, and this time, as he then jumps into the air with jet engines from his feet, because Gran Torino method, as he rushes forward, technically flying, which Stain was not expecting. Of course, Pathfinder shoots out a grappling hook that, is towards the wall, and he rushes towards him, and he is shooting out these special energy bullets that would paralyze someone. It's pretty much like a stun gun on steroids. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. As then Revenant decides to activate something very fun. As for shits and giggles, he does the hand signs. As then he says, Death Totem. As then his body seemingly bursts into smoke, which in reality for the sake of simplicity and, some people not liking this, it's nanotech. Pathfinder is actually not Pathfinder, Revenant in this one, rather than having multiple bodies to hop in and out of, he's made out of multiple little bots. Haha, motherfucker. Twisted on ya. And that's actually how he does his quote unquote smoke. It's actually little nanotechnology simulating smoke. Now, Pathfinder is still conscious in it. He just can travel now as smoke. He can harden himself whenever, just because, it took me a while to figure out how that would work. I'm not going to lie to you. At first, I was just going to leave that shit out and then make some bullshit excuse on how Deku was able to upgrade it. But, after a while, I thought about it. I got it. Now, here's the fun part. As Stain is able to dodge the 3. That is until there is a yell that sends a shiver down Tensei and Tenya Ida. Stain also quivers for a moment, for it did yell out, "Tenya Ida, you moron!" As Tensei looks at just starts shaking his head, and he's saying, "Oh, Stain, you are lucky, for you have not incurred the wrath of she who is yet to be named." As coming in a, high-powered electric scooter, kind of like a makeshift, granny bat cycle, if you will. She's rushing forward. She's hopping from rooftop to rooftop as she goes off into the air. Her wheels, turn into jets as she slowly descends down. She then pushes her driving but the stick forward as she goes towards Ida, as then she pulls out an electric cane and proceeds to beat the ever little shit out of Ida. Oh, not ever living shit, actually. She's just constantly bopping him on the head, kind of like that. But it's his grandma, Granny Ida. As this was a poll a long time ago too, and it was for Gran Torino to get a ship, and behold, Gran Torino's ship is Ida's grandmama. Which is gonna be weird as fuck. But it gets worse. Oh, it gets much worse for Ida. As Stain, he instantly saying, "What is this? Is this a mockery?" As, before, Stain has his sword sticking out as Granny Ida, she points out her cane. She pushes a button that's on, the hook part towards her hand. And, to the surprise of Stain, Ida, and Native, Tensei, Revenant, and Pathfinder are just there. There's a smiley face on Revenant, Revenant has a smile on his face too, made out of smoke. And Pathfinder's screen on his chest is showing a happy face, as Tensei is excited to see this. For you see, from this cane, shoots out, at first, just one quick electric spear. It looks like a... Oof. Damn, that's tough. Well, reply to that. As... Where was I going with this? Yes. It shoots out. And then it breaks into 10. And then breaks into 10 again. Each little one divides into 10. It goes from 1 to 10. Bet. I love that. I will watch that later. Anime King is one of my favorite YouTubers. I was sad that he said he was sick the other day. I'm glad that he's gotten better. As continuing on with this what if, as it divides into pretty much 100 lightning spears just going towards Stain at high speeds that not only could he not dodge, he kind of got pincushioned. These would work similar to Senbon needles and electrify the shit out of him. Now, to the horrifying thing of, Stain, the needles that are around his body in particular, all the electricity around the 100 ones focus and create an electric grid, or he is constantly being zapped. He's stuck to this. Now, this is slightly inspired from Watson and her, barriers, her force fields. When she does the little energy rides, she would put one pillar here, one pillar there, one pillar there, connect them. It'd be really cool. As now I'm using it as Granny would shoot it out as this is, Watsa Ida. That's the only thing I could have thought of for any form of joy for this. So sorry, not sorry. It's difficult, my guy. Puns are not my strong suit. Dark humor, yes. I tear that shit up, but to the point where most people believe that I should be put in a facility for people with fucked up heads. I believe they call it rehab or psychiatry. Therapy? I don't know. I digress. That's not really my ideal situation either. As we now go to a special scene. As Stain is being... He got captured by Granny Ida. As the new, people start to come in, backups has arrived. Everyone else that was still on the island, they're okay. Not the island, we're busy. As we do a slight time skip, it's been 1 week since Ida's little stunt. Gran Torino has met Granny Ida, and he was actually surprised to see Ingenium, the original Ingenium OG, be standing. He would then openly admit to the public that he has dropped the title Ingenium for Stain did defeat him. This is his return to hero work, but under the hero name Octanium. That way I cannot be copyrighted for using the name Octanium, where I'm just barely skimming by. But please do not strike me down, Apex Legends. I love your game. I'm not even sponsored by you, and I'm just giving you guys the shit talk. You guys are fun. I suck like a motherfucker at playing you guys. I had a legendary crypto skin that I got out of luck, and I thought that was still cool. Shit, my bad. Back to the what if. We go to Ida in front of Gran Torino and his grandma, Watsa Ida. As they're both scowling at him, scolding him, my bad, not scowling, talking about how dumb he is. Now, there's another reason why he is here. As Watsa decides Ida will be the ring bearer. The what? The ring bearer. Me and Gran Torino are getting married. Now, in case you're wondering, why the fuck if after just a week of meeting, they're old as shit, they like each other, they vibe, they actually fucked 2 days into it, and Ida heard it. The man is mentally scarred. He knows what they have done. And he's disgusted because, the fact that his grandmama saying, higher, let's go until we're at the ceiling. As Ida, he had wished rather than shitty eyesight, he was born with shitty hearing. As, he'd rather have drills going in his ears and meat in the middle of his brainstem, scrambling his brains. He'd rather get treated by Mori, Jason from Tokyo Ghoul, have the centipedes in his ear, get that tortured method. Maybe the Kaneki of molestation. And if you don't believe Kaneki was molested, look at how weird how they had to change his clothes. They had to cut off his tendons for some reason, only if he would unshackle him. Why would he do that? Why would he need a change of clothes? Yamori is prison, and it's not something that, is simple. A lot of people don't want to admit it, but yes, Kaneki was pretty much molested and butt fucked by Jason while he was captured and tortured. You know, it doesn't cover it in the anime, but the manga, dear God, oh my God, no. Whew. And Tokyo Ghoul B with Tokyo Ray, they even showed like these are the places that are most damaged, and well, yeah, fuck. Two areas were mostly damaged, his area and then his lower half for some reason. And you can take that however you want it. Which unfortunately Kaneki didn't have a choice in. But boom. Yes. I set up Kaneki for that joke. I don't care. Fight me. No, I don't even care to fight. No, not rotate. No. As I'm kind of sorry for the story break, but I did like my joke, so I don't regret anything. Continuing on with the what if. Ida, he's confused on why he would need to be a ring bearer. They explain, well, despite his stupidity, they met each other. They like each other. And at their old age, that means something. You know, Gran Torino doesn't like the fact that he had to come out of retirement recently. It pissed him off. And since All for One is still active, he didn't like the idea of, dying an old, lonely man, but he also doesn't like the idea of leaving a widow. So he wants to finish the remaining of his old life married to someone who he can just vibe with. And tell me if I'm fucking wrong, but if you shave Gran Torino, give him glasses, and put him in a brown suit, he looks just like the old man from Up who lost Ellie. And I'm not wrong. He's the anime version of it. And if you don't see it, then you is blind, or you has clearly not done enough soul searching like I have. And that can be interpreted however you think that could be. I digress. As Ida, he agrees. He thinks it's awkward as fuck. But of course, a wedding is thrown. No, it's beautiful. The heroes know about it. Yue knows about it. They were invited. Ida's class was, it was kind of weird because, they're really old and they know that what's supposed to happen at a honeymoon. I mean, they're really happy about it, but Mineta had to be the creeper and straight up point out to Ida, he's probably gonna use his engines for extra thrusting power inside your granny. As Ida saying, I am aware. I have had the unfortunate, experience of hearing it when I had to stay in Hosu. As, Ida, he starts to go pale. He sinks in. He feels his soul shattering because he just remembers the entire night. And now he's going to be having a nightmare about it tonight too. And now he's going to have to realize that it's going to happen again and over again. Probably every single night for the rest of their lives. And Ida, his soul leaves his body for a moment. Everyone's just like, what the fuck just happened to Ida? Ida just died. As, for shits and giggles, I'm just going to give it to Reiko because her quirk is called Poltergeist. She just moves his spirit back into his body and then, he's just like, he should have just let me die. It would have been better. I could have found peace. As, all jokes aside, Ida lives on. Gran Torino claps his grandma's cheeks. Good thing she's already gone through menopause because that man does not pull out. He jet thrusts constantly. And, well, good thing he's a hero because hip replacements were, necessary within the first 2 weeks of their marriage. Oh, shit, that's terrible. Anyway, continue on. Let's actually go to our main character, Deku. As it's almost been 20 minutes and I've barely mentioned him, rather just his work and side characters. As Deku and Hatsume, they're actually at the park, laying on a blanket. They recently just had a nice picnic date. Hatsume, it's one of those rare moments where Deku has actually been able to pull her out of the lab. She's not too focused on all of her babies or their babies, which, now when he says it, he doesn't get as flustered, but, he does get a good smile on his face. As, he sees Hatsumi resting peacefully on his chest, he decides, be a little bit romantic. He gives her a kiss on the forehead, as then he puts his head back. He's thinking, might as well go to sleep, as, unbeknownst to him, the forehead kiss actually woke up Hatsume. Not that she, gonna say she isn't, but I'm just going with that she's a light sleeper. It's just kind of pre-programmed in her. She can fall asleep really quickly, take quick power naps, because I feel like it makes sense for her. Anyway, continue on, as she woke up when Deku did that. And then she sees how he just then goes and lays his head down. She decides to have some fun, as she yawns, trying to get Deku's attention so he would look up. But the moment he looks up, she also raises herself, pulls down her shirt just ever so slightly to expose her cleavage. Deku gets a full face of boobs. The moment he sits up, face and boobs. As he's just like, Hatsume would then place one hand on the back of Izuku's head and keep him there. As Izuku actually stands there, well, not stands there, but does not move for about 30 seconds. Hatsune is confused. Normally, Deku would, fight. As, she removes his face, and she then sees Deku with a massive grin on his face. He is knocked the fuck out. There's no blood coming from his nose, but, yeah, it's one of those, like, happy punch. Now, Hatsume does laugh and giggle as she then snuggles next to Deku. The two end up taking a 2-hour nap in the park. A lot of people did see. And there was this one person who thought it'd be funny to, maybe fuck with them. That is until Deku's 3 drones that have been waiting in the trees would shoot out a barrier, creating a force field, allowing the two to rest peacefully. It's a nice energy dome. But then the 3 drones then decide to do something that I'm just going like, why not? As this one is low-key inspired from really old school, like not back in like the 90s and 80s Optimus Prime one when they still had the mini cons, or was that early 2000s? I no longer remember. They redid the show a fuck ton of times, and I know it's just the oldest shit, but they had where mini cons could unite to make a robot. So the 3 drones descend down as to become the torso, and then break off a separate piece, allowing the other drone to break itself to become legs, part of the arms, and, the 3 combine to make a 3rd drone. No, not 3rd drone, but a 3rd robot. Now, this robot does have a special design, and that is, it has a mullet. Yes, I wanted to make this one pretty much look like the new Apex Legend character, and if you don't know who he is, I will actually... You know what? I'll put a link in the description on his trailer for you guys to watch. And also as a hope that Apex Legends does not, mark my video as you need to take this shit down as no, please, this is just for entertainment purposes. I swear. I'm not trying to badmouth you. I love your stuff. I'm trying to say that as much as often, so Apex Legends, if they do find this, they don't try and take it down, my guy. As I really hope they don't. Fuck. Continue on as we now go to a slight time skip. No, not a time skip. Well, let's go back to the mullet robot. You see, the mullet robot has this special feature in his right arm. And his right arm, think of it as pretty much having universal pull in almighty push, as he has two palms, two marking on his palms, as if he swipes to the left, the space is erased in front of him, and thus causing things to be sucked in to fill in the space. The power of the hand, the stand, but only if he swipes left. If he swipes right, the space in front of him would be forced out of him, causing it to be pushed away. Or, shit like that. Now, there is a third ability where, because it's a robot, it can do this. If it spins its hand in a very fast, almost like a drill motion, and then does a thrust, it would then proceed to launch I guess you could say, a form of the vanishing Rasengan, because they don't really see it, but they do get knocked with rotational energy that they can't see. It's just space got warped. Since there's no matter or distortion of light for them to notice, they just get hit by it, man. And that's what happened to the guy, as he got sent flying into a tree, and he did kind of was hanging upside down when he slammed into it. And everyone kind of saw that, as the robot then looked, and then it broke into 3 drones and then retreated back into the trees, as then the energy dome went down. As, Deku lifts up his head, he shrugs his shoulders and then goes back to sleep, as no one fucks with them. We now go to school. People are curious about Deku, especially about his formula. Shinzo and Melissa, those two, very, very good. They've also hit it off relatively well. I don't feel like I need to cover them, because it's just going to be wasted time. But to summarize it, they're already officially dating, but they've not gone farther than holding hands and a few kisses on the cheeks. Shinzo is very respectful. Melissa, the trauma, yeah. Now, here's where things actually get kind of fun, as Deku, though he's at school, class is about to end, there is a visitor for him. And this little visitor is brought by Principal Nezu. This little one actually also has something special, as, recently Melissa got it for her. Her and Shinzo picked it out for her, as, I gotta watch that later too, that's good. As I also recommend Izukage. Watch his Rick Sanchez one. You know what? I'm gonna have the first one and the second one linked in this description too, because fuck it, why not? If anything... fuck, I'm trying to pop my back. Hold up. Nope. Just pain. That just hurt. Fuck. I'm gonna cripple myself instead if I try to do that jerking motion again. Ow. That shit hurted it. Also, you know what's fun? Right now, for me, it's gonna be 9 p.m. And at 3:30, I must rise again. Or maybe just not sleep at all, because I would have to go back to work to do breakfast for our college track team, which I do hope they win. I don't know anyone on them. I just don't want to hear them bitch. So, yeah. I have to make them breakfast for 32 people. It's nothing special. It's a burrito, 15 breakfast burritos, 15 breakfast sandwiches, and 2 vegan breakfasts that I'm pretty much making vegan oatmeal, which that just means oats, hot water, cinnamon, a little bit of sugar, and some cut up apples. Simple. No milk, no butter. Nah. It's gonna be good. Maybe some coconut oil, because that could help, with thickness and a little bit of sweetness. But I can't use honey because honey is not vegan, in case y'all don't know. Anyway, back to the what if, as we now have something special. As it's little Eri, and she brought herself a little violin that was a gift from Shinzo and Melissa. As, Deku sees her, he instantly just runs up. She jumps in his arms, and she's going like, Deku! As, they have a fun little bond. Despite, the whole trauma that happened, Eri was quick to, open up and love Todoroki, Shinzo, and Izuku. To her, despite Deku being her violin teacher still, they're all like big brothers to her, and she just loves them. They all do see her as like a little bundle of joy for them to protect. As we now go to something fun. As Jiro, Deku, the two are with Eri. They're playing the violin, slowly showing Eri which notes as they would take turns. One would show Eri how to hold it and what notes to go, slowly guiding her to make sure she doesn't mess up. Jiro would help do the whole, fine tuning, how to do the treatment, and Deku would be more analyzing how Eri is first, and then figuring out the best method to train her. As they're doing a little bit of all methods as they show her, then they have her copy it, and if she does anything wrong, they readjust it, have her try again, and then, they're brushing over everything little by little, and that's gonna be how it goes, repeti- uh, repetitively showing her the basics until she can, do it herself, which, yeah, it won't take long. But it is relatively cute to see Jiro and Deku with little Eri. As Melissa, she's just watching. Her heart is just swooning as it's just too adorable for her. Shinzo, he would see and he's just like, oh, cinnamon child. And then he looks at Deku and he's just like, problem child. At least he's taking care of it. As, his body, he has finally gotten over the whole drawbacks of the muscle spasms that came from taking Deku's weird drug. Todoroki also got over it. Endeavor also feels kind of weird from that drug. And All Might, despite losing One for All, he still respects Deku. Deku actually decides to give All Might, a special medicine. He also injected All Might with some nanobots. These nanobots are carrying an insane amount of stem cells within them. As you probably know where I'm going with this, as it's over time, and it's not always Deku who's doing them, but rather Pathfinder, Revenant, and Mullet Droid. I don't have a name for him yet, but I don't want to use any one of the other ones because I already feel like I'm pushing it using two actual names. So let's just go with Gearhead. Fuck it, why not? As Gearhead would also be helping with the treatment. As to the surprise, All Might had bonded well with the stem cells and the nanobites that repaired his lungs. Soon they would just regularly go through his urine and feces, exiting his body once they've repaired everything that they need to just leave the body naturally. All Might thought it'd be weird and it's very disturbing, but he's actually very thrilled that he can now breathe. Of course, there was this one person who, despite All Might's deflated look, noticed that he was starting to get healthier. He was growing more. She found it respectful. And she actually, due to some unexpected bonding at the hospital, and this is also to spite Endeavor, but Todoroki's mother,
Yes, Ray. She actually had developed some feelings for Toshinori. And Toshinori also for her. However, here is something that. Okay, cool. Okay. As now we go to the two. Endeavor has only now seen All Might inside the room with Ray. He's confused on why he's there, and I'm sorry that I'm not really involving Deku right now, but I do need these little seeds to be planted in, so they're gonna take some time. It just means the video is gonna be closer to maybe an hour and 30 minutes. I'm not too angry. I don't really care. It just happened, okay? Deal with it because I do not care. Now we go to the three as Endeavor asks what's going on. Toshinori does feel awkward, and so does Ray. The two decide, you know, they look at NG and they tell him. The two have become really good friends. Just friends for right now. Since All Might no longer has his power, he's also stayed in the hospital. Deku's treatment pretty much had helped repair his missing lungs, his missing organs, and Deku's treatment, although has not affected Reiko with nanobots, actually has helped with CAT scans. Examining her mind and help ease mental trauma. Where the fears that Reiko once had no longer bother her in the sense where she trembles. She's talked to Todoroki, like Shoto, and she's apologized diligently over and over again. It was my brother grabbing the charger. He wanted to be quiet, so I just paused it. It's fine. We're good. Damn. As she's already apologized to Shoto about the boiling water, and Shoto actually. Excuse me. Shoto actually has accepted and forgiven his mom's apology. He's also begged for her forgiveness. Now, I bet you're wondering why. Why would Shoto beg for the forgiveness of his mother? And what he's asking for forgiveness is not ever visiting her. He feels horrified. You see, during his near-death experience, he had flashbacks of his life. He remembered his mom, and he remembered, though he hated his father, he also was no better than the man because he also neglected his mother. He neglected the person who had once been the source of hope, and although now there are more sources of hope for him, he does draw on more power within him now. He is with Momo. He does care for Eri. Eri has actually seen Ray. And, low-key granddaughter vibes. Low-key granddaughter vibes. I digress as, the two, they get along really well. Well, trio, as not yet, but Eri promised that one day she'll play for Ray and Todoroki, her new violin that Melissa and Shinzo got her since Deku's teaching her. And the whole Deku with helping her in her mental health, she's just like, and he helped her son. This kid is just the bee's knees. Just the ultimate slice of cheese, Jack. As that's just too horrible. I digress. I gotta stop it though. Fuck, I wasn't trying to do that though. As not Naruto, fuck, Deku, my bad. As, I'm sorry. We go to, what if Deku started his own village? Right. That was the one I was gonna do. What if Naruto? Oh shit, Rogue X also released What If Naruto Was Byakuya's reincarnation, which I will watch later. Smug Stick released What If Bardock Went to Earth with Goku, Part 3. I will also watch that soon. No fair. Damon What If, another YouTuber who I admire, he did What If Super Buu Turned Good Part 4. No fair. Izukage, he did What If Deku was Rick Sanchez Part 2. It's not fair. Anyway, continuing on with the What If as... Fuck. You know what? I will end this at an hour just because I can. Because I have other shit to watch. And I feel like I earned my shit like this. And you know what? It has been a while since I did leave this off. So, this does give me an excuse to make another part. To actually end it properly. So, while we sow the seeds and my constant distractions and slight story breaks and, trying to make today feel better than what it really was. Fake it till you make it. We go to Endeavor pretty much accepting and, All Might, he truly was the better man. He didn't love Ray like he should have. And, the fact that she now loves somebody else after putting up with him for this long, he's no longer mad. He feels great disappointment and sadness, yes, but it's all within himself. You gotta remember, he too got his shit slapped. And during his near-death experience, he also regretted the way he treated everyone. Before the Nomu in Season 4. And yes, I know Season 5 is coming soon, but meh. I'm into the 7 Deadly Sins hype right now. Whew. As we go to, unfortunately, something very sad. As we go to Deku and Eri. Now, this is what I mean by sad, so hear me out. As, the two, they're playing the violin, they're learning. As this is when Deku would get a call. Now, this call is something that happened in the lab. The support course lab. Wait, what happened in the support course lab? Well, apparently, someone had hacked into... There was this man. He had long black hair. It was covering his bangs. Hatsune tried to stop him, but it was weird. He just touched the desk, and then it turned into this weird person that kind of looked like you. And then he sent it after her. It attacked her. What? Who attacked Hatsune? We don't know, but, Revenant, they took the drone. I don't know why, but they took Revenant. They took his coatings. What's going on, Izuku? As he rushes over, he tells Eri just to stay here. He'll be right back. He's putting on a fake smile. He's rushing his ass over. He sees Hatsume with a hole in her stomach. Yes. However, it's not like completely through her body. It's just a hole in her stomach. Now, this is a double dark side for him. As even though Hatsume is unconscious, he's able to fix her up with his nanobot. Same thing as, with All Might. He's able to get Doc, his healing drone, out and help him resuscitate and help with rebuild new cells, artificial stem cells that he's been able to create. A new evolution where he doesn't need actual stem cells. Deku's big braining evolution, everything. As Hatsume is able to survive. However, during the scan, Doc informed Deku of something. He wasn't able to save the other one. Wait, what other one? Well, see, within Hatsume's belly was growing a little, just barely anything, honestly. As, remember, Deku also had a near-death experience who barely survived it, so Hatsume wouldn't resist hopping on it, and Deku would not pull out. she would not allow it. She really did want the babies. Doc informed Deku that Hatsume had just only barely, but, you know, there was an actual pregnancy. You know, Deku, he's just like, wait, what? No. You know, Hatsume is coming too, as tears are flowing down her eyes, as, you know, she's saying she wanted it to be a surprise, Izuku. I'm sorry. They took your baby. They they took our baby. As Hatsume would fall unconscious with tears running down her eyes, Deku, he does know she's going to live. However, you know, there is this distinctive darkness that has now crept into Deku's soul. Da da. I fucking love this song. Ahoy, ahoy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to skip it though because this won't help me right now. Sorry. I know. How dare you skip the song? I can. Well, there's nothing you can do by the time you get to this part. It had been long gone. As we go to... No. Yes! Number one wife. As Deku, he's cradling Hatsume's body. You know, she's unconscious, but he's in shock. There's this distinct darkness that entered his soul that will help motivate him. Motivate him to bring out something that, you know, he didn't really want to do, but you know what? Now, he sees no reason why not to. As, you know, he tells Doc to prepare the serums. As he asks, does he mean those serums? The Alpha and the Omega serum. As Izuku nods. As Deku saying he finally knows what he's going to call himself. He is, you know, as he lifts up Hatsume's body, you know, he hugs it tightly, holding her. As, you know, other people are coming in, they're seeing this. Deku just easily says this. I am the apex hunter hero, Enma. As, you know, everyone felt weirdly disturbed at the fact that when Deku called himself Enma, which if you don't know is the name of the Judge of Hell, his eyes became bloodshot out of just pure rage. You know, out of just pure rage, his eyes just bursted with blood. As, you know, Doc saying, Master, you know, my sensors show that you have recently ruptured 2 blood vessels. You need to calm down. Your anger, it's causing your body. As Deku saying, that's why I said get the Alpha and the Omega serum. No. As Doc does, Hatsume is taken to Recovery Girl by Izuku. You know, everyone's trying to ask him what are these serums. You know, he's being very silent. No one knows. As, you know, Hatsume's parents would come, they would see Hatsume. You know, they're glad that she's healed and safe. I mean, Deku does tell her not to say anything about the baby yet. You know, he's got to do some investigating just for her to get her rest, and she does. She takes a long nap. She's kind of heartbroken right now. As, you know, Deku, he's looking through the footage of UA. He sees that it's this man, it's Skeptic from the Liberation Army who stole Revenant. As, now that Deku knows, he's going for a hunt. As Deku decides to bust out another android. one that's pretty much going to help him find Revenant. This one is called Blut. Just Blut. The word for blood in German. Blut. Now, yes, it's pretty much Blood Hunter or Blut Hunter. I just won't say the full name. And I can't, because fear of having this shit taken down. As I do love this song, Day and Night by Kid Cudi. Anyway, going back to it, as we now go to Deku and Blut, who has now, after scanning, the images for Skeptic, he does a whole city search after hacking into this, city grid, which Deku knows is illegal, but this isn't normal Deku right now. In fact, this isn't even Izuku. This is Enma responding right now. And Enma, he is the judge. He realizes Blut is the hunter. And Revenant, he is his executioner. And he finds it kind of funny. He's going to use the item that they stole from him to end them. He's happy that he has Blut. Pathfinder is in charge of watching over Hatsumi, making sure she's not aware of what Deku's up to, and making sure no one else does. He does use his special computer robotics to fake Deku's voice in phone calls for people, to make sure Deku is not doing what they're afraid he might be doing. Oh my god, no. Oh, it gets worse, my guy. As Deku also decides to unleash 3 prototypes. Now, what are these prototypes, you may ask? Well, they're prototype drones. Now, I bet you're wondering, why more drones? You see, these drones have each their own, I guess you could say, specialty. Now, by specialty, I do mean like they shoot out something special. None of them are technically supposed to capture, but they can. It's just going to be a very painful one. As one specializes through Watson's tech with the whole... Remember how I hinted with Grant and Iwatsa, Ida, with her canes? As these pretty much would shoot out spikes that, once impale, you would electrocute you, and then it would shoot out more spikes around you, entrapping you in an electric cage. We then have a special one that is pretty much our caustic tribute, and it is truly with different forms of gas. Now, it has corrosive gas to tear down walls, it has gas to paralyze people, gas that disrupts the nervous system, that disrupts the human psyche, that, corrodes the human organs from the inside, and 2 different lethal gases that would cause the human cells in the body to actually lose, their structure, destroying the DNA structure at its very core. And then the other one is to target the very bones within them, causing it to become so fragile and brittle that they start breaking, and small chips, because of the weight of the body, it start splintering off into the muscles, cutting it up. Very, very painful shit, honestly. But Deku, it's just barely scratching the surface. As this next one is pretty much our Wraith Portal. Or teleporting Wraith Portal. As, think of it as our Kamui, in a sense. As its body, in a sense, is the Wraith Portal device. That it would just... excuse me. Blip in and out as it speeds through at different directions. Now think of pretty much how Wraith would have the advantage of being able to play against someone in real life. They would be able to just go through in a separate dimension, where they could see us, but we can't see them, and then attack from her separate dimension. its bullets would shoot out, but once it actually shoots out of it, its certain field of range, like it has a field around it that lets it just blip into and out of existence. It's not opening a portal. It actually has a force field. So once it actually shoots out of its force field, it re-enters the real world where it can see and dodge, but depending on the angle or where it's being shot at, you don't really have a lot of time to react. And, you know, Deku is only barely giving them a fighting chance because here's the thing. Each drone is designed to analyze the person and the people around him and respond accordingly. He's looking for people. He's looking for the Para-Liberation Army. Oh, yes. He was able to track down 3 potential bases, but he does nothing. He waits. And by he waits, I mean I'm about to end the video. Yeah. I bet y'all weren't expecting for me to do that to Hatsume and Deku, but that's the fun part. I'm gonna be sad because this next part will actually be the end. The next one is the end. And Frame Deku, you know what? What is it? Yeah, before this month is over, I'm gonna end Frame Deku, end this one, and end 2 Naruto ones. Yeah, I think my One Piece one will probably end up being either a 5 or 4 piece. I don't know. Just due to how advanced I am in the manga for you anime watchers. Yeah, here is what things get more interesting in this one. You see, let's just quickly cut to Hatsume's perspective. Eri is there with Hatsume. Eri is really sad at what happened. She feels bad that Hatsume's belly is technically not real anymore. That's what Eri thinks. So while Hatsume is sleeping, Eri rewinds and rewinds. You see, Eri, just because I want to and I fucking can, Eri had actually rewound Hatsume to the state right when she is pregnant. So there is a new baby there. It is the same baby that was wiped out of existence, but with a special twist here. You see, this baby, just because I can, due to the influence of Eri, not that it's going to get Eri's powers or look like Eri, it's just, it goes from being a boy into twins. Yes. 2. As... Oh, it's gonna get more fun. You see, Hatsume is now born with twins. Because... You see, there was, something special left within Hatsume before Deku left. The two had to reconcile real quick, and Deku did his best to comfort Hatsume. He knew she was heartbroken about losing the child, so, with a smile, he said they can try again. So they did. However, despite being rewound, it did not disappear. Now, what I mean is, Hatsume being pregnant right now with twins is just for the sake of my bullshit. And it's just plot convenience. So, Hatsume now has 2. The first boy that was lost, and now the girl that exists. Now, this is thanks to Eri. As... since Eri was just focusing on Hatsume, the baby was actually unaffected. Now, this might seem like bullshit to you, but yes, this is what I mean when I say Eri is to thank for this. Doc does get the notice that something's happened with Melissa, not Melissa, but Hatsume, and he would scan, and he would be relatively surprised because for Melissa to be as pregnant as she once was is thanks to the new baby already sampled in there. You know, the eggs were refertilized, and new life will be born in 9 months. You know, it gets the scan saying that 2 eggs are confirmed to be fertilized. And Doc, he's happy. He's confused. Does he tell his master now? Does he wait for Hatsume to wake up? He sees little Eri sleeping with Hatsume, like, cuddled up. And Hatsume, she's smiling. She's holding Eri tightly, like, as if it was her own child. Subconsciously, of course, Hatsume's not awake for this. And if she were, she'd probably cry. I'm horrible. I love it, though. As we end the video here, actually. This is perfect. This is the perfect way to end it. With Hatsume and Deku blissfully unaware of what Eri had done. Doc the machine knowing. Eri also not knowing her god tier power. Ida traumatized from hearing his mother get clapped by Gran Torino. I'm about to sneeze. Ow! That one came faster than I thought it could. That was funny.